Hey everybody, it's Keith Hayden and welcome to another video in my solo studio series. Today I want to talk about email lists. I want to talk about why you should have one if you don't have one, why you should revive it if you already have a list and you haven't been sending emails. I'll tell you a little bit about my story with email lists, and then I'll show you some platforms that you can use to get started. And finally, I'll tell you some best practices, some do's and don'ts around email lists. Sounds like a lot, but we're going to get through it real quick. As usual, subscribe to this channel if you feel like it. If you don't worry about it today. So, first, I want to talk about my story when it comes to email lists. For the longest time, I heard that I should have a list. This was 4 or 5 years ago. I was a new author. I just decided to write online, and all I read was you need an email list, you need an email list. And I just didn't understand why. Honestly, it took me about 1 to 2 years to actually stand up my list. And when I did, I didn't have anything to say. I had no idea what I was going to say. So I ended up just sending out like updates about what I was working on. And it was mostly just my friends and family on my list. So nothing was really happening. But I'm glad I did. And the reason why is because I own my list. This isn't Twitter. This isn't Instagram. This isn't TikTok. Those are borrowed platforms. And so when I started sending stuff to my own email list, that's when I saw the power to actually build deeper connections with them, put my products and services out there, and just have a direct channel to talk to people who are interested in me and in my work. Imagine having that power. You can do the same starting today, and I'm going to show you a few alternatives you can use to get started. So first, let me share my screen as I normally do. And let me show you my email provider, which is ConvertKit. ConvertKit is very robust. It's a newer platform. It has tons of features. One of the main features that it has when you get into their pro plan is you have the automate feature, which, if you're not aware what an automation is, it's basically when somebody does something in connection to your email list, you can perform an action. So let me give you an example. Somebody decides to join your list. Hooray, awesome. You want to send them a welcome email. So without an automation, you'd have to send an email, go into your Gmail or whoever your email provider is, get their email, and send a new person an email every time. It's pretty redundant and pretty tedious. It gets old very fast. I've done it. And automation can really speed up that work. So I will say ConvertKit is a little bit on a higher end as far as email provider options. You can shop around and do your homework, do your own research when it comes to this, but I really like ConvertKit. I recently switched just a few months ago and I love it. So for you brand new beginners out there, say you don't have a list at all and you've never had one, Mailchimp, I highly recommend them for starters. Here's why. You can get up to 500 email people on your email list to start. That's a lot of people. That's a pretty big list. And it's free up to that point with some limited features. A lot of people get away from Mailchimp really fast. I know I did after they've used it for a while, is because it's a little bit clunky on the technical side. It's not as robust. It doesn't have as many integrations with newer software. So yeah, so it's a good place to start, but I'd say you're probably not going to finish there. But maybe you will. Maybe it'll be for you. The next platform that I tried was SendFox. SendFox is through the AppSumo suite of software tools, and they have a lot of different services. Email is one of them. I like this one. It was pretty good. It's a little bit bare bones, but the good thing is they have a lifetime deal. At least they did have one when I signed up a couple of years ago. So look into that. I think it's a good value for money, but the features are a little bit limited if you decide to go with them. The most recent one that I just moved away from and I'm slowly transitioning out from is Aweber. Aweber is really good because they give you all of their services, landing pages, automations, email, you name it, for a pretty good price, not too bad. I moved away from them a little bit though because their whole setup is a little bit more dated. It doesn't plug in with newer website builders. You should check out my website. Why you need a website, by the way, that video where I talk about some of those website builders. But Aweber doesn't really play as nice with those. It's a little bit more of an older style of the way they do stuff. So I moved away and I moved on to ConvertKit, but it's also a very good option if you're just getting started. So finally, I want to talk about best practices when it comes to email list, to running your email list. And some of these may seem obvious, but maybe some of them aren't. The first thing is you need to send emails to your list. You got to send emails. You'd be surprised how many people start up an email list, but they never send emails to it. And then you'd be like, what's the point of that? But they do it out of fear for being unsubbed. What if nobody reads my emails? I don't have anything to say. This is all going to happen. It's happened to me. People will unsub you, people will ignore your emails. And there will be times when you have no idea what the hell you want to talk to them about, especially in the beginning. That's okay. The important thing is that you start to build that relationship with people as soon as possible for stuff further down the line. Say you want to sell something or you decide to offer coaching or do something else in the future. Well, it helps if you've greased the wheels a little bit and had an email list to start. So don't be afraid of the other stuff happening. It will happen. I mean, how many emails do you ignore in your inbox daily? I know I ignore a lot of them. I just unsubbed from a ton of newsletters and things like that. So don't worry about that. It's going to happen. Send emails anyway. Next thing is don't get caught up in the metrics. When you get into these things, you'll start seeing all these numbers and all these graphs and like wow, it's telling me all this information. I'll be honest, most of that information is good to know. It's nice to know, but it's not the point of having an email list. The point of an email list is to deepen your relationship with people who are interested in you and your work, not to get a bunch of metrics that you really can't do anything about in the beginning. You're a solo studio creator. You don't have a marketing department. You don't have an email guru expert on staff. Well, maybe you do, but I didn't. So don't worry about that stuff. Later on, when you get more advanced and you get more tools and more capability under your belt, maybe you can start fooling with the metrics, but don't worry about them in the beginning. And then finally, I said, don't be afraid to kick people off of your list. The reality is, every person that joins your email list eventually will cost you money. That's right. Most of these platforms, that's the way they charge. If you have an email list of 500 in MailChimp, it's free. But as soon as you hit 501 or 502, they're going to force you to subscribe to their paid plan. And the cost tends to scale up as you get a bigger list. So don't be one of these people that has an email list of 1,000 subscribers, but only 50 of them are reading your emails. That's a waste of money. It's a waste of your time and their time, frankly, because they're just ignoring your emails. It's just another email they have to bypass. So I call it pruning my list probably once a season. So maybe once every 3 months, I'll go in and I'll just look at who's inactive. They haven't opened my emails in a while, and hey, we'll part ways and go our separate ways. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You should do that every now and then, just to, like I said, save yourself time, save yourself money, and then save them the time of, hey, I'm just going to take one more email out of your inbox for you to, have to worry about it. So that's it for this video. That's all I wanted to talk about. I hit it in under 10 minutes. Perfect. I hope you enjoyed this video series. I'm really happy to be making it for you. I would highly recommend that you subscribe to this channel if you are feeling like it, and also follow me on Twitter, y'all. I know there's a lot of bad press about Twitter right now. I don't pay attention to it. There's a vibrant community of creators on there, and I'm a part of it. And I'd love for you to follow me in my various learning journeys and the other things that I just love to talk about. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.